20,000 years ago, the world experienced the last of a series of ice ages that have occurred over the last 2 million years. As temperatures fell, ice built up in the hills and spread out into the lowlands until an ice sheet extended across northern Europe to southern England. Ice up to 1 kilometre thick covered the Solway, pressing the land down under its weight. As the ice flowed, it deposited powdered rock beneath it, moulded into groups of low hills called drumlins. These deposits were aligned with the direction in which the ice was moving. These drumlin fields are a feature of the Solway landscape today and indicate the direction of ice flow in the last ice age. The ice cover ebbed and flowed as temperatures rose and fell, ending when ice from the Galloway Hills encroached on the Solway Plain one last time about 15,000 years ago. Lumps of granite from Criffel were carried by the ice across the Solway and left scattered across North Cumbria when the ice finally melted away. As the ice melted and retreated for the last time, the huge amounts of water released caused sea levels to rise. With the weight of ice lifted, the land bounced back and rose up, causing relative sea levels to fall. Sea levels fell so much that 10,000 years ago the Solway was mostly dry land, and the Isle of Man may have been connected to Cumbria by a land bridge. Tundra vegetation covered the area and was gradually replaced by woodland as trees spread northwards up the broad coastal plains. Shallow lakes became marshes and bogs as vegetation developed. As the lifting of the land slowed down, continuing ice melt caused sea levels to rise again, and by 7,000 years ago they were about 10 metres above present sea level. Much of the Solway coast was under the sea, and the Solway forests were submerged. The peat and tree stumps of these submerged habitats are sometimes exposed at low tide at Cardurnock and Dubmill Point today. As global temperatures stabilised, the polar ice caps melted more slowly and sea level rise decreased. However, the land around the Solway was still rising slowly as it recovered from the lifting of the weight of ice, and so sea levels here began falling again, leaving marine deposits as terraces and raised beaches at 10 metres and 5 metres above present-day sea level. The land here continues to rise slowly, and terraces at different heights on the salt marshes are a result of this process. Today, sea level is once again rising around the Solway as a result of global warming. The flat, muddy deposits of the raised seabed were poorly drained and became waterlogged. They turned into reed beds and fens, and then sphagnum bogs. The Solway Plain became an open area of marsh, fen and bog, with mixed woodland clothing the higher, drier areas of the drumlins. With the coming of the Holm-Cultram monks in the 12th century, land began to be drained and improved for farming. Peat was cut from the bogs to burn as fuel and later for use in horticulture. The marshes disappeared and the bogs were nibbled back over time, with further periods of improvement through 19th century enclosures and 20th century mechanisation. Although the Solway wetlands have been much reduced by human activity, an aerial view shows that large tracts of bog remain, and the Solway is still one of the best areas in the country for wetland wildlife.